Some new details tonight, meantime, about the Watertown shootout that nearly killed MBTA police officer Dic Donohue.
A new report indicates that Donohue was probably hit by friendly fire. As Ken MacLeod explains, the bullet is still lodged in Donohue's leg, so we may never know for sure.
Investigators recovered more than 250 shell casings from this neighborhood, fired by 17 different officers on that April night. And the DA has concluded that transit officer Dic Donohue was very likely wounded by friendly fire. The Watertown shootout lasted only minutes, during which a responding sergeant came virtually face-to-face with Tamerlan Tsarnaev.
They were ultimately 4 to 5 feet apart.
But it wasn't until Tamerlan had been tackled on Laurel Street and brother Dzhokhar ran him over with that carjacked SUV that transit officer Dic Donohue was critically wounded by gunfire. And today the district attorney acknowledged what has long been suspected. Donohue was almost certainly hit by other cops as they shot at the fleeing SUV.
It is likely that it came from the gun of one of the officers who was attempting to stop Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, yes.
Exactly who shot Donohue might never be known amid uncertainty over angles and ricochets. But more important, doctors never removed the slug that severed Donohue's femoral artery.
Because the projectile which struck Officer Donohue remains in his leg and will not be removed at this point unless it becomes medically necessary.
Regardless, though, the DA says the bombs detonated by the Tsarnaev brothers, Tamerlan's gunfire, and Dzhokhar's wild driving all warranted the officers' return fire.
And their use of deadly force was justified in defense of themselves, defense of other officers, and residents of the neighborhood.
Officer Donohue just recently returned to the transit force some 2 years after the shootout here, and he was promoted to sergeant upon his return. In Watertown, Ken MacLeod, WBZ News.
Sergeant Donohue had this reaction to the report. I harbor no regrets and am forever grateful to the police officers, firefighters, and medical professionals who saved my life.